Opening day of competition for the individuals grinds to a close here as we are set for the third and final test for the men on the opening day at the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram. We got Mike Arsenault down on the competition floor. We will hear from him in a second. And the biggest shock after two tests, Justin Medeiros, worst career finish in test number one. And that didn't last because then he had his worst career finish in test two, 29th and a 37th.
And he just doesn't look anything like Justin Medeiros ever has. And the question is, what is going on with him physically that's leading to these finish places?
Overall standings has Roman Krennikov with 191 out of a possible 200 points. Moritz Fiebig sits in second, and it's Jay Crouch in third, tied with Brent Fikowski with Jorgen Karl Gudmundsson just 3 points behind those two. Test number 3 is the Inverted Medley.
Unbroken elements, 4 sections leading down to the pull-up rig in the back, where we're bringing out the pullovers for the second time in CrossFit Games history.
Recipe for success delivered by Trifecta.
The amount of work it's going to take these athletes to keep their bearings straight. The word of the day is equilibrium, and then balance patience and precision. When should I go? When should I come down?
Let's send it down to Mike Arsenault, who's on the competition floor.
Well, as Chase mentioned, the limiting factor for these pullovers is not strength, it's equilibrium. Many athletes are saying they're starting to get dizzy as they get toward 8, 9, 10 reps. That's why they're breaking up in 2. One mechanism to fix that is find a fixed point on the ground at a 45-degree angle, and that will make the pullovers a little bit easier and limit the dizziness.
10 men in this first of 4 heats. Spencer Panchik will be in lane number 5, currently in 6th place overall. He's only 30 points back of Roman Krennikov for the overall lead.
Solid performance all morning long. And, maybe old big brother's rubbing off on him a little bit, because we know how good Scott is at handstand events. Let's see how good Spencer can do.
First of 4 heats has started. There are 24 total scored repetitions in this test. The 4 sections on the floor count as 1 each. Then you have the 16 pullovers and then 4 more sections for that total. You have to be unbroken between the yellow lines. And it's Spencer Panchik who is out front early, as we are just half a minute into this test, and timing is presented by G-Shock, the official watch of the NOBULL CrossFit Games.
And Spencer went all the way through the first obstacle into the second one, unbroken.
Comes Spencer Panchik on to his second set of 4. Bronislaw Olenkowicz has now moved into 2nd place. As Kaike Servani, who is in 3rd, as Servani on the left side of your screen just got hit with a no rep, so he's got to go back to the yellow line. Spencer Panchik and Bronislaw Olenkowicz are on their 4th and final obstacle on the trip down the floor before they'll get to work on their 16 pullovers. Spencer's going to fail that first attempt.
Bronislaw's more known for his strength than his gymnastics, but some of that strength plays well when you look at these inverted skills, because they do have the stamina and strength in the shoulders to sustain these long efforts inverted.
Spencer Panchik and Bronislaw Olenkowicz onto the 16 pullovers. 20 reps is the number that they will try to hit before they are allowed to work their way back down the floor. You can buy tickets now for the 5th annual Rogue Invitational, taking place in Austin, Texas, from October 27th through the 29th.
Spencer on the right side is doing a big upper body pull. We saw the female athletes use this good gymnastics sweeping kip to pass through the bottom of that pullover, where you watch Bronislav and Spencer is just doing a big upper body pull, where that's becoming more of a fatiguing element in the mid part of this test.
Spencer Pancic has now 5 remaining. Malangowicz is right on his heels. Kalian Souza is in 3rd place right now, followed by Artur Semenov and Ant Haynes.
With just a few more reps to go, Spencer Pancic with 1 more. You got 2 more to go, excuse me.
2 more to go for Pancic.
7-minute time cap here. As Spencer fails that final rep. Malangowicz is just about done. This would be his final pullover. And he is up and over, and Malangowicz and Pancic will move back to the steps at the same time.
Here's to see how that fatigue element for Spencer on the right plays into the back half of this test.
And Spencer having trouble just getting himself situated on top of those steps. He's got to do a 360 before he can work his way down. He'll complete that. Malangowicz now eyeing his setup.
We talked about equilibrium at the top part of this, and getting dizzy on these pullovers is a little bit of a part of the element when it comes to this, and then having to get upside down immediately after this.
Lane 8 is Kalian Souza, who is now in the lead. Spencer Pancic is gaining ground now as he's got himself situated. And Souza is through his first set of 4. Here comes Spencer Pancic. Bronislav Malangowicz trying to work his way back down the floor too. Approaching the 5-minute mark, 7-minute time cap here. First of 4 heats for the men, their final test of the opening day here.
And there they go. Knocking out rep number 5.
Now Spencer Pancic back in the lead as Sosa got hit with a no rep. Malangowicz was on his 4th and final rep, as he is in the background there on the left side of your screen. Was not able to complete it. He will have to go all the way back to the beginning of that section. Now Spencer Pancic has gotten himself through the freestanding handstand push-ups. 1 section remains for him.
And wasting no time on the midpoint of the ramp. Spencer at the top.
Spencer has to get over the yellow line. He will do it, and he will take heat 1. .538.42 seconds for Spencer Pancic as Kalian Souza will be the next man across the finish line, as he's the leader on the floor right now. And Kalian is in. 5:38.42 the top time from Spencer Pancic. Souza about 30 seconds behind that at 6:09.86 seconds. A little more than 30 seconds to go before we hit the 7-minute time cap. So far, 2 men have completed this test. Now Ant Haynes who received a backfill invitation out of the Asia semifinal. He's going to miss his 4th and final rep on that 2nd section of free-handing handstand push-ups, and he's not going to have enough time to make another run. And that will do it for heat number 1. 2 men get inside the 7-minute time cap, and it's Spencer Pancic with a time of 5:38.42 seconds with the top mark with 3 heats remaining.
Spencer came out of the gates hot, and then once he got to the stairs, started to struggle with that fatigue, began to settle in. the back half of this. And just that strict upper body pull, not using the hip as much as he potentially could. Had a couple of stumbles in the middle between him and Souza. So Souza moved ahead of him after the first section, but then Spencer regaining his composure, getting his shoulders back underneath him, able to hang on to the end and set the time to beat.
Spencer Paget came into this test in 6th place overall. Only 6 points out of a spot inside the top 3. 5:38.42 seconds is his mark. 2 men completing that test inside the 7-minute time cap in heat number 1. 3 heats remain here in test 3, the inverted medley. We are set for the second of 4 heats here in test number 3 for the men, as we conclude the opening day of competition for the individuals here at the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Whittled with Chase Ingram. We have Mike Arsenault down on the competition floor. Test number 3 is the inverted medley.
Like the shoulder blaster 3000 is probably what we should call this, because unbroken handstand walks through the middle, 16 pullovers at the peak of this down and back skills chipper. This is a nasty test of skills.
What's your recipe for success delivered by Trifecta?
Equilibrium. How do you move your body in space, but then how do you keep that function of your balance as you work through that? And speaking of balance, patience, and precision, because each of these sections have to be done unbroken.
10 men on the floor for this second of 4 heats. In lane number 4 is a guy who made his rookie debut last year, won a test here inside the Coliseum. That's Nick Matthew, currently sits in 32nd place overall.
I didn't know Nick Matthew wore full-length shirts. It's like his superpower back in the day.
Well, the athletes were briefed that you cannot alter your uniform as that news was delivered. I think the person delivering it was looking right at Nick Matthew.
I do not want to see your belly button during this competition.
We are underway here in heat number 2. Only 2 men have been able to complete this test inside the time cap, and it is Nick Matthew who is out front early. Wow. Along with Colton Mertens and Chandler Smith.
Like 7 guys just decided to keep going through into these handstand push-ups.
And Matthew continues to go unbroken. Now we're starting to see some athletes take a break, as Nick Matthew is looking to go unbroken all the way through this first section, and he's not gonna make it.
Oh man. Look, Nick Matthews in a position at the moment on the leaderboard to take some chances.
Now Matthew will get himself to the pull-up bar for 16 pullovers.
And for these pullovers, the trick here is almost doing the opposite of everything you learned about how to do a gymnastics kick, where it's keep your arms straight, swing your chest through, use your hips to get over. Just reverse that. It's pull your arms first, then throw the feet, and then maybe get your hips over the bar.
Well, Bailey Martin was the next man to the pullover. He's on the bottom right-hand part of your screen, and he's moving through these very quickly. Chandler Smith was second, followed by Colton Mertens.
Well, here's the difference between Martin and Matthew is bottom right side of your screen. Look at him push back off the top of the pull-up bar. Now he gets that sweep through the middle, and he doesn't have to pull his arms to bring his hips over the bar. This is how a bar pullover is done for sequential reps and not taxing himself. Matthew on the right side, he drops straight down and then has to pull straight up.
Bailey Martin is creeping up on Nick Matthew. That's one rep to go here. Haven is the official gym bag of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. Scan the QR code on your screen for more. Nick Matthew and Colton Mertens taking a break as Mertens. I thought Mertens might be done. Bailey Martin is now solidly in second place behind Nick Matthew, who fails his first attempt to get up and down those steps. Bailey Martin's at the bottom of your screen in the black and gray.
Matthew fails again.
Here's Bailey Martin. He's got to do a 360 before he can work his way down the steps. And now he'll go right into the handstand push-ups. Here comes Nick Matthew, who's going to take a break. So Bailey Martin out front. If he can save it, he can continue to work, and he does.
The head just has to touch the pad. If you want to walk 5 feet, 2 inches off the ground, that's up to you.
Bailey Martin taking a break. 3 minutes, 15 seconds gone by. Here's 7-minute time cap, and the time to beat is 5 minutes, 38.42 seconds.
Well, the key to what you just said, Sean, was taking a break. Taking a break to let your shoulders rest, to let your balance equalize a bit before you go into the next section. Unless you just have rock star balance and coordination, taking breaks is a key component to sustained effort over the course of this skills test.
Now Chandler Smith has moved into second with Nick Matthew, as Bailey Martin has just one section remaining. Now here comes Chandler Smith behind Martin. And Smith is going to save that one. Great fight from Chandler Smith. It's Bailey Martin is on his final obstacle. And Bailey Martin fails at they gave him credit. They gave him credit. He got across the yellow line. Both hands were there. And he's going to get in 4:25.68 seconds for Bailey Martin. That was close. And now the race for second place, not only in this heat, but also the test. Chandler Smith and Nick Matthew. It looks like Smith is going to get the best of that. Chandler Smith is down, and he is in. Matthew right behind him. 4:50.28 seconds for Chandler Smith.
Well, it's huge for Chandler. That save we saw before we got to that last section. And like any wrestlers out there, that was a wrestler save. Because the way they warm up and flip around and move on their heads and come to that was, he just brought back his past athletic history to save that handstand push-up.
Here comes Colton Mertens. Mertens, your leader on the floor. Grover Gudmundsson is working his way back as well. Gudmundsson's there on the left side of your screen, just got hit with a no rep. We've got to go back and start that section again. Mertens is through. .72 seconds for Colton Mertens. He came in 25th place overall. Ludas Upniks, your leader on the floor. Less than a minute to go before we hit the 7-minute time cap.
With less than a minute. Upside down as he makes the walk up and down that ramp.
40 seconds to go.
David Sharunki and James Sprague still out there working as well. As Fittest is in. Sprague is trying to get through that section of handstand push-ups, and he will. And he's got to hurry if he's going to want to get inside that 7-minute time cap.
Yeah, it takes about 20 seconds to get across the obstacle at this time.
He's going to go for it. Doesn't look like Sprague's going to make it. The 5 men in this second heat able to get inside the 7-minute time cap. And it's Bailey Martin who sets the new mark to beat at 4 minutes 25.68 seconds.
And here was just Nick Matthew trying to go unbroken end to end. He was best Daniel Brandon impression. Unfortunately, had to fall off, missed twice on the way back, and that opened the door for Bailey Martin, who took the rest after those bar pullovers. Able to, oh man, you're right, Sean, that was really close at the end. Really close.
It's close enough to count. And Bailey Martin with your top time at 4:25.68 seconds. Chandler Smith edges out Nick Matthew in that great battle we saw for second place. And it's Colt Mertens and Uldis Upniks, the only other men to get inside the 7-minute time cap. 2 heats remain here. In test number 3, the inverted medley from the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games. We are halfway through test number 3 for the men here on Thursday, the opening day of the 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram. Mike Arsenault is down on the competition floor. We had Ride, the Pig Chipper, and now it's the inverted medley.
Inverted medley. We're going straight gymnastics here in the Coliseum for the first time this weekend, and that element we haven't seen since 2012, smack there in the middle. Those 16 pullovers are making for some troubled handstand walkers on the way back.
The recipe for success is delivered by Trifecta. Do you add or take away anything from this?
And that's the pullovers. That's the equilibrium part. Can you keep your balance? Can you keep your wits about you after the pullovers and on the way back down? Patience and precision. These sections must be done unbroken, and you got to know when to start.
10 men in this third of 4 heats. And then Sam Cornway in lane 6. Last year, he was on the Mayhem team that stood atop the podium, making his first individual appearance here at the CrossFit Games since 2021 when he took 23rd overall.
Well, in 2021, he took 3rd overall in the handstand walk test, very similar to this one.
There's Cole Griesaber, who finished 33rd overall last year, his first year as an individual at the CrossFit Games. Cornway is towards the front here, along with Jay Crouch, Yona Koski, and Cole Griesaber.
What I like from Cornier is that he took a break. He has the capacity to be one of the better athletes in the field when it comes to this inverted handstand walk skill, and right off the bat took a break after the first section.
Looks like you got the leader over there, Coach T, in lane number 10.
Cole Griesaber is your leader, followed by Jake Crouch and Yona Koski. Cornway sits in fourth right now in the heat. And Griesaber is able to stumble his way across the yellow line there and has one section remaining. Here come Crouch and Koski. Griesaber, the first man to get to work on the steps. And he is over. Jake Crouch is done. Now Koski's starting to struggle a little bit as Sam Cornway has moved into third. And it's Griesaber onto his 16 pullovers. Jake Crouch is there as well. And here comes Yona Koski. Koski won the opening test. Third time he's won the opening test in his career at the CrossFit Games. You can buy tickets now for the 5th annual Rogue Invitational taking place in Austin, Texas from October 27th through the 29th. Cole Griesaber is through 13 of the 24 total repetitions. At the 20 rep mark, that's when he will be able to work his way back down the floor. The leader in the heat, his name will be on the far left side of that scoring hat on top of your screen, and the number in the white box will indicate how many reps he has completed. The number in the white box next to all the other athletes will indicate how many reps by which they trail the leader in the heat. But Griesaber now has 3 reps remaining before he will head back down the floor. The time to beat belongs to Bailey Martin at 4 minutes 25.68 seconds.
And for Griesaber, he stopped at 13, broke with just 3 left, and not because he couldn't do it, but we've heard athletes intentionally taking that break to get their equilibrium back.
Griesaber set now to get back on top of that 20-inch box, do a 360, and work his way back down the steps. He's got to get both hands over the yellow line. He does that, and he will kick down to take a break. Yona Koski now.
And Sean, Griesaber, track and field in high school. I'll give you one guess what event he did. That would be the pole vault. Youth gymnastics from 3 to 13. Griesaber only being 23 years old. Just custom made for a test like this.
He's through his first of sets of 4 freestanding handstand push-ups. He's got one more set of these. That's Jake Crouch and Yona Koski right behind him. Koski in the background there, no shirt on. He's in second place ahead of Crouch. Final rep for Griesaber here. Come down at any point between the yellow lines. You got to go back and start again. So Griesaber is through safely, and he's going to take a run at this last one. And Cole Griesaber, no problem for him, and we have a new time to beat. Cole Griesaber takes heat 3. 3 minutes 47.89 seconds.
Just very consistent, not out of control, leaning on his past experience.
Bottom of your screen now in the middle, Yona Koski on the left, Jake Crouch on the right. They're fighting for second place in this heat. And right now, the second best time in the test, although they're gonna have to hustle to get that. 4:25.68 seconds is now the second best time. And Crouch is just gonna miss it. 4:27.72 seconds for Crouch. Koski did not get over the yellow line, and he's going to have to go all the way back and redo that obstacle. And Sam Cornway now starting to creep up on Koski. Here comes Cornway, who's going to take 3rd place in the heat. Right now, that's 6th best in the test, 4:57.40 seconds. Yona Koski and Heinrich Haapalainen are dead even. It's going to be Haapalainen beating Koski across.
So So that mistake right at the end, 2 people got in between him. 40-second error for Janikowski. So when we talk that balance of precision and patience, when to go, when not to go. As you get towards the end of this test, these athletes are being forced to gamble a little bit because of the times these other athletes are putting up.
And Moritz Fiebig on the top of your screen, who came in 2nd place overall, is now your leader on the floor. Jelle Hossa is the man in the blue shirt, the rookie out of Belgium. And now a no rep for Fiebig because he did not start with his hands completely behind the yellow line. Fiebig has to restart, trying to hold off Hossa. And Luke Parker now has passed Jelle Hossa. Parker staying on his hands as Fiebig is up and over and across. Parker is ahead of Hossa. Parker kicks down. He is safely on the finish mat, and there is Jelle Hossa. 2 men still on the competition floor. It's Will Morad and Alex Vigneault. 15 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. Both Vigneault and Morad are going to get capped.
2, 1, time.
That's Cole Griesaber, the only man we have seen to go sub-4 on this test. 3:47.89 seconds with 1 heat remaining. Final heat of the final test of the opening day for the men. Up next here inside the Coliseum at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram, and it's Mike Arsenault down on the competition floor. You heard the crew talking about Justin Medeiros. He has been a surprise so far on day number 1, not because he is leading, but because this is the worst performance he's had in his career so far. 2 back-to-back finishes, as you said, worse in his career, where he's sitting overall a 37th place finish from the back-to-back champ, known only for just getting top 10s year after year. Justin needs to do something big. There is no other choice for Medeiros but then to start winning tests. He is in 36th place overall right now. Roman Krennikov, the man who finished 2nd to Justin Medeiros last year at the CrossFit Games, he has 191 out of a possible 200 points. Moritz Fiebig, he has already competed so far in this test. He sits in 2nd, and Jay Crouch, Brent Frykowski, and Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson rounding out the top 5. But look how tight it is there in spots 3 through 7. Test number 3 is the inverted medley.
We've done handstand obstacle courses before, but these 16 pullovers by pole vaulters around the world. The Buka is now down here on the competition floor here in Madison, Wisconsin, and they have a tough score to beat coming into this 4th and final heat.
The recipe for success is delivered by Trifecta. What will you be watching for here in this final heat?
We said it a lot too. It's equilibrium. Can you keep your head on straight, getting upside down, and patience and precision with these unbroken elements?
10 men here on the competition floor. Justin Medeiros will be in lane number 10. For more on him, here's Mike Arsenault.
Well, as mentioned, Justin fell twice in test number 1, and that shook him up both physically and mentally, so he wasn't feeling himself for the rest of test 1 and test number 2. We're back indoors, air conditioning. We'll see if he has a better performance here in test number 3.
You see Justin a little bit marked up there on his chest from those 2 spills that he took in test number 1. Final heat is underway. Cole Griesaber has the top time at 3:47.89 seconds. And Justin Medeiros is towards the front here in the opening portion of this test. Velner Krennikov and Jason Hopper do not take a break and go right into that set of freestanding handstand push-ups. Their heads just need to touch the mat and come back up. If they come off their hands at any point between the yellow lines, they got to retreat and start that section again. So Medeiros is towards the front here in this heat as Jason Hopper tried to go unbroken, and he falls. Roman Krennikov, your overall leader in the white jersey, looks to continue his great day 1. He leads here going into the final section. Each section on the floor will count for 1 repetition, and then there are 16 pullovers on the pull-up bar, and then 4 more sections on the way back for 24 total scored repetitions. And Roman Krennikov will be the first man to the pullovers as Pat Velner takes a spill. Justin Medeiros and Noah Olson, opposite ends of the floor. Medeiros on the bottom, Olson on the top in the blue shorts. They are onto the pull-up bar.
Roman Krennikov in the red and white, your leader after 2 tests, was 2 seconds behind the pace set by Cole Griesaber in the previous heat. Griesaber ended up going 13-3 on these 16 pullovers. We just saw Roman break at 5.
Haven is the official gym bag of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. You can scan the QR code on your screen for more information. But Justin Medeiros and Noah Olson now fighting for the lead here in this heat. Medeiros through 17 of the 24 total repetitions. The leader's name in the heat will be on the far left side of your screen on the scoring mat.
Justin Medeiros just went unbroken. No one has done that today yet.
Medeiros in the lead here, and he has got to score some points to start working his way up the overall standings.
At semifinals, Justin Medeiros was not having the competition that he wanted. And then it came to an event that had pirouettes and handstand walks and inverted handstand push-ups. And he went out and set the best time in the entire world. This is Justin's time to chip back out of that hole he dug for himself earlier today.
Time to beat is in the bottom left-hand part of your screen. Justin Medeiros failed his first attempt to get back over these steps. He's got to get both hands over to the yellow line. He does that. Now he can come off his hands. Noah Olson has been falling back now as Roman Krennikov has moved into second. Pat Velner is fighting Olson for third right now. Olson's on the left side of your screen. This is the 10th straight time that Noah Olson has made it to the CrossFit Games as Medeiros manages to save that and now is able to kick down. That is big.
Okay, so one thing here, Sean. When you race in a field like this, sometimes an athlete puts at a time that nobody's going to beat. And where the mistake lies in some athletes is that they try to be that guy. Justin needs to be careful. It's okay to maybe let Cole take the win if that means he gets a solid second place. You don't want to put yourself in a position that you try to beat this guy and then it gives you a fit because of it.
It looks like Griesaber's time is going to hold. So he'll pick up his first career test win at the CrossFit Games. Now Justin Medeiros has 1 section remaining. Roman Krennikov sits in second place, and it's Pat Velner in third. Now here goes Medeiros, final section. Up and over for Medeiros, and he ain't dead yet. 4:07 4:03.63 seconds for Justin Medeiros. That will be good enough for a second place finish in the test. Huge 97 points for the two-time defending champ. And now Roman Krennikov trying to get the crowd behind him as he's holding off Pat Vellner. Vellner on the left side of your screen out of Canada. Krennikov is in, and Roman Krennikov with another solid performance here in test number 3. That will be good enough for 5th place, 4:40.23, and now here comes Pat Vellner. Vellner, 6th place in the test, 4:48.38 seconds. And now Noah Olson, your leader on the floor, 2 minutes to go before we hit the 7-minute time cap. Noah Olson, one of 3 men in the field who is making his 10th straight appearance here at the CrossFit Games. Cole Sager and Jorgen Karl Gudmundsson, the other 2. Olson gets safely through that final section. .529.12 seconds for Noah Olson. That would be good enough for 12th place in test 3. Jeff Adler in the gray shorts, trying to be the next man across the finish line. Battling with Dallin Pepper. And Adler is in. We'll take 5th place in the heat, 15th place in the test, just under 6 minutes, 5:57.78. Dallin Pepper and Lazar Jukic still on the floor, along with Sam Plott and Brent Fikowski. Pepper makes it.
30 seconds, athlete, 30 seconds.
Brent Fikowski and Sam Plott and Jason Hopper all on the floor. Hopper is still back on the pull-up wall. Final 10 seconds before we hit the time cap. Fikowski's just going to run out of time. Justin Medeiros will finish 2nd place in the test. He wins the heat, 4:03.63 seconds. He will add 97 points to his total. That is huge as he will move his way up the overall standings. Cole Griesaber is going to pick up his first test win of his career at 3:47.89 seconds.
Not something we normally see from Justin Medeiros in the seriousness that he is currently competing with, but he comes out and is the only athlete to do 16 pullovers unbroken. Comes out here, doesn't get the best time overall, but that's okay. 2nd best time will do for now, and that's one of many top finish chips that Medeiros needs to start stacking starting now.
Cole Griesaber, the only man to go sub-4. He will win the test, pick up 100 points. Justin Medeiros finishes 2nd. And then Bailey Martin out of New Zealand and Jake Crouch out of Australia rounding out the top 4, and another top 5 finish for Roman Krennikov. Down to the floor, Mike Arsenault is with Justin Medeiros.
Justin, I think we can describe your day 1 at the CrossFit Games as eventful. Let's start with test number 1. You fell twice. You have a few injuries here on your chest. Can you just take me through what happened in test number 1?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not how you win events is crashing twice, but it's a long weekend, and it means so much just to be out here on the competition floor. I mean, my family, I appreciate these moments so much, and yeah, it's a long weekend. I'm gonna keep fighting for sure.
This is as emotional as I've ever seen you this early in the competition. You had your 2 worst performances in test 1 and test number 2. How are you able to rebound mentally to put up a 2nd place here in test number 3?
Yeah, man, it's I really do. I know everyone says it, but I know I have the best team there is. I mean, my coaches, my family, my friends, it's unreal the support I have, and definitely at times like this, just lean in on them. And I know that when I'm giving it my best, man, it'll be enough.
Well, the comeback has started. 3 more days of competition. Justin, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you.
Justin Medeiros, not the start he wanted today, number 1, but a great finish. Second place in test number 3 as he looks to work his way up the overall standings and defend his 2-time championship here. The 2023 NOBULL CrossFit Games are presented by NOBULL, the official footwear and apparel brand of CrossFit. Rogue, don't weaken. G-Shock, challenge your limits, the official watch of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. Trifecta, eat like you train. And RP Strength, the official nutrition coaching platform of the CrossFit Games.